Okay, more than 100 people. Not bad for a Friday.
Yeah. And we haven't started yet.
Oh, Graz. Hi, Christian. We're a big fan of Graz. LinkedIn Learning there.
Yeah, I'm just checking if everything is okay. Give me 1 second. I'm just checking. Yes, now we are fully online, Antonio, and we want to welcome all of you to this webinar. So it's a different one because both Antonio and I, we are on holiday. So Antonio is connecting from Beirut, Lebanon, and I'm connecting with you from the Sequoia National Park. I am in Three Rivers in California. So in my last day of holidays, and then Monday I'm back, and I will be working and connecting here with some ventures and VCs here in California, and I will be back to Portugal at the end of the month on 24th. So Antonio, how are you, my friend?
I'm very good, Ricardo. Good to see you again. Good to see everyone. I think we're going to have a very nice end of the year month. So I think there's so much going on from our perspective in terms of AI project management, but also the AI is going so fast, and we can see already quite some important implications in the profession, in the work, in our lives. So I'm looking forward, very excited. Ricardo, and you, how are things?
I'm very very excited. I have some news also to share in something that are shaping what is happening with PM. But without further say, let me start showing you. So I want to welcome all of you to the section number 16, my friend. My friend, 16 hours of webinars just when we started playing this monthly webinar. So it's wonderful to have all of you. Some quick updates to you about our initiative. The first thing I want to share with you, it's again, if you are not aware, our AIPM certification is available in English, Spanish, French, Brazilian, Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, and Arabic is coming very soon. Okay, so you can do the exam in any of these languages, and also all the material comes with subtitles in all these languages too. The second thing, it's about the certification. So it's growing and it's reaching more and more organizations. So Antonio, just sharing. So between now and the end of the year, we'll have 4 classes only for private clients. Okay, so large companies that are investing in the AIPM credential. We'll share with you later more about that. But one of the nicest uh, testimonies we have comes from Cedric, that he was with us a few months ago from GSK. So we did, and we are doing a lot of work with them on making sure AI is used in the best possible way for project management. And also, starting today, the registrations for our masterclass number 9 that is happening in December 16th and 17th is open, and is open with a special introductory price. So if you use, it's not future of work, sorry for my mistake here, is not, it's AI Summer is the coupon code for you to get 100% off in the masterclass. So sorry for my mistake. And also, this is very, very special. We also got a discount of 100 for the certification with APMG and the bundle. So if you use AI Summer, you will benefit from the masterclass, from the certification, and the bundle. Okay, so this is just to release. Registrations are open for the last masterclass of 2025 in December. So feel free to join us. Antonio, before I move to the next slide about the research, we want to share with you something we received, what, half an hour, 20 minutes ago. We received the cover of the report. The report will be available for all of you for free mid-September. So we are expecting maybe the end of next week or the beginning of the following week. And Antonio, the floor is yours to present the cover. This is the cover of our next slide. Antonio, ball to you to explain the main findings.
Thank you. So Ricardo, we know, everyone know, you know how important for us is research. We do our own research using new tools, experimented, but I think for us it's very important that we understand the trends, that we can see where things are moving and what are the impacts, so that we are proactive, we anticipate, we can win. You know, this speed is critical. So it's not easy to carry a research like the ones we do. We're quite thorough on the questions. We're quite thorough on the analysis and the publication. Our last research, which was one of the first ones in AI project management before even PMI and other big associations started, we were the first one coming. So Ricardo and I, in our kind of regular calls, we thought it's been already for a while, like we need to do that. We need to do that. We started the year with the objective to understanding the latest trends. A lot has happened in 2 years, right? So how can we see that? And so like Ricardo just said, we have done the analysis. We're going into the final stage of editing. We ask an external editor to look at as well, so that there's no mistakes, the numbers, but we wanted to share a little bit of highlight on what's coming. Of course, we'll cover this extensively in the next webinar. You'll get the report for free. But yeah, we're super excited every time we try to share new things. And I think the good news is that it's in line with what we've been doing, Ricardo and I, since we started this initiative for AI, is that AI is no longer an option in project management. It's becoming foundation, right? It has to be part of our daily job. It has to be part of our core skills. And this is confirming the first highlights. I think I put a few points there. If you can move to the next slide, please, Ricardo. There are a couple of comments here. Okay, perfect. So what it's interesting. So we compare most of the questions that we had were very similar to 2023 report. So we wanted to see evolution and trends going up, going down. What was very, very interesting is that people start using it. We've seen a high level of adoption. It's still not full-blown adoption, but people are using more and more AI tool. The second big thing is, no doubt, and I don't know how much we have of responsibility on this, but AI literacy has doubled. So we are becoming more familiar with AI, not just the tools, but what's behind that black box. How do the large LLMs work? What's AGI? So this is, of course, important for us. We covered that in the master class, but I think you hear every day about AI. So we're becoming more literate about that. The business impact is measurable. According to the research, we can see already around 250K return on investment when you start adopting AI in your projects. This was about half of the people were saying we're using AI already. Not full blown, but yes. For that point, I think we need to be cautious. It's about cost cutting. So cost reduction in terms of not people, but workload. So we need to see, we don't want AI to be a driver of cost reduction. It's a driver of doing the projects better, okay? So that's number 3. New skills are critical. This we have no doubt. That was the purpose of our initiative, Ricardo and I. We want to build new skills. So this is something that it's part of our daily job, prompt engineering. Now we're moving into agents. Agents is going to be a big part of our next masterclass. So we have to adapt with the new technologies and ChatGPT 5 and the other tools that are just changing every time. So core competency. This is not just a side one, it's a core one. Then the bigger issue is also a big highlight is the cultural barriers. More than technical, which is incredible, right? So people still are a bit afraid of AI. The ethical concerns are a big issue. Again, we saw that it's just there. It has not been gone. And the last point that we wanted to share right now, this is just a very quick overview, is the future is co-piloted. So AI is no longer just an assistant tool, but it becomes like your pilot, co-pilot in your projects. It's the second most important role almost in your project. So that changes significantly the way we see project and project management. So when we'll have the report, you see that we've used a similar format. What does it mean for an AI project manager? So you'll see examples, there's quotes, and a lot of material that we hope you enjoy reading and you learn and you take some of the learnings into your day-to-day job. So just hold there for a week or two and you'll get this from all of us, from Ricardo and myself.
Yeah, thank you, Antonio. Just on the report, so we want to thank all of you for participating. The report was very nice, and you are the very first ones to see the cover and to see the results. We haven't presented this to anyone before, and the report will be ready, okay, very soon. So we are finalizing the slide deck and this, and then Antonio and I will do a section exclusively to discuss in details the results. Remember, this report is absolutely free for anyone to download, okay? Anyone will be able to download it. So this is our contribution to all of you, okay? Antonio, now let's go back to what is in your radar.
Ricardo, do you mind if we bring Helen right now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me come back here and let me bring Helen. Just a second.
Helen is our partner in the UK. So
yeah, from Provac. And we are doing also, she's contributing dramatically to our growth among companies. So Helen is coming. I invited her. Yes.
Hi, Helen. Good to see you.
You are on mute, Helen.
There we go. All sorted. Afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for joining. We wanted to share a bit because the UK is a big market. It's AI focused. So as you're very close to what's going on there, we thought, Ricardo and I, that you could give a small update. What you see, we had already very good exchanges on how to introduce new ideas into our demos, but just more general, what are the trends? Do you see AI coming more and faster into PMOs? And just whatever you see, we thought that would be interesting to share with our colleagues here in the call.
Thanks both. Well, we're quite fortunate, I think, in the UK. We're actually the third largest AI market, mainly down to the fact that the government is very, very focused on AI, and they're putting a lot of investment into it. Earlier in the year, they created this AI Opportunities Action Plan, and in that it said business as usual is not an option. So across all sectors, across all types of industry, business as usual is not an option. So interestingly, we're seeing the sort of public sector moving ahead faster with AI in some areas than private sector. So I think private sector are still have a sort of cautious optimism, as you said in your report, but the public sector is sort of really going ahead. We're seeing a lot of interest from corporate clients now. and we're seeing, rather than people on public courses, we're seeing a lot of corporates coming in and saying, we want people from finance, IT, directors, we want a whole team of people on the course so they can all have a different approach and different input. So a bit like a sort of multi-agent tool, you know, they're sort of using that and then going away and thinking about what the options are moving forward. Certainly multi-agents, as you said, is becoming big over here. But I think a lot of people are still quite wary. But once they've been on the course, they're much more sort of, you know, focused and feel that they can persuade people around their organisation. Interestingly, some IT people that I've worked with before, and I know some of that sort of reluctance is coming from IT departments. Now, whether that's because they're concerned about their own roles, they think they might be taken over, you know, because IT roles are changing, I don't know. But certainly PMOs, we're seeing it moving forward. Project managers are starting to use the tools and things like Asana, it's being incorporated into those, you know, AI elements of those anyway. So it's a bit of a softly approach, but the government is pushing, so that's good in terms of funding.
Very nice. And then one question from me is, when you get a talk from a PMO director or so, what are their what are they looking for, or how do you, from an organization perspective, if you can share, because we know you've been contacting some big companies there. So what is the discussion like, the challenges?
Yeah, so in terms of sort of that PMO level, they are looking at processing data much quicker and having real-time data. They're also looking at things like portfolio. So we had some PMO people on the course who were really interested in that portfolio tool, Antonio, that you created. Just, you know, you'd be surprised at the number of companies, very, you know, experienced companies that don't have an overview of all the projects in their portfolio. And that there's no clear governance around, you know, what the priorities are for the organisation. So tools like that people are starting to introduce now are having an impact and making things a lot quicker. I think there is a bit of reluctance, you know, just in terms of people's roles in a PMO. But prioritising, you know, we think that after sort of training and teaching project management for 20, 30 years, that everyone would know all of the projects in their portfolio. But a lot of companies still don't. So those tools are helping them get up to speed and making better decisions.
Excellent. Thank you, Helen. I'm good with what you share. I think it's exciting. We can see the interest in the AIPM as well with the numbers that you're having. You have like every month you have an open or two times AIPM masterclass, which is great. And then so that I think that is very, very good signs for us.
Yeah, and we enjoy it. All of the trainers that deliver it absolutely love it, particularly things like the demos and also the discussions that we have. Similar on your masterclass, it's the discussions that causes us to sort of think ahead and think further as well. But yeah, we absolutely love it.
Antonio,
thank you, Helen, for the time and for jumping in here without any preparation.
And thanks for the partnership. Okay.
Yeah, it's great. We love it. Thanks very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Helen.
Bye.
So we have like Helen is the managing director of Provec. We have we might bring somebody from China as well in the future, because we're finalizing discussions there, so that you see what's happening in China and the different tools that are happening. But let's go back to my update. It won't be too long. I didn't prepare. I think there are a couple of news that struck me more than just the tools, is the implications. And there were two kind of figures or highlights in the last week that made me a bit worried, or just what can we do, right? So there's a report from Harvard study that shows that the junior hiring, so the entry level, is dramatically reducing, right? So it's 22%. So that's huge. These are the people who are going to grow through the ladder and are going to be more senior, and then managers, and then whatever. and suddenly the companies are not hiring them. So those that have children, of course, this is a bit of a concern, but also those that have a business, those that are consultants or trainers. Yeah, how is it going to affect? What are the key challenges that are we going to be facing if the entry-level jobs are disappearing? What are these people going to be doing to start and then jumping? This is something that is part of our masterclass. We need to think about that. We see it from a corporate perspective, but for our projects too. We all have project management juniors, right? That's how we all started. And suddenly those roles are not needed. So we need to think not just as a business, but for our projects and for the profession. How can we make this happen? What is the trick? What are the new things that these more junior people can be doing? I don't have the answer, and it's something that we need to think about and write about that. And the second point, Salesforce was talking about having 50% of their customer interactions now done by AI. 50%. And this is just growing. So all the customer interactions are going to be sooner or later done by AI. This is stakeholder management, right? In a project management point of view, is stakeholder management. And if AI starts doing that, we need to think again, what are the implications for us? And when you see the type of interactions that we have today with AI, are not like these stupid phone calls that you answer, you push a number and you say, press 1, 2, C, and it's like a robot. Here, you see Ricardo makes demo in the masterclass talking to ChatGPT, and it's like a person. It just it sounds like a human. So I think that handicap is gone. And now we need to think about this, not somebody that will take our jobs, but become a partner in our delivery and projects. So I think this makes me think, again, there's a lot for us to learn in project management, in PMOs, and how we start embracing more changes than what we thought at the beginning. Next slide. Ricardo, please. So this is the so what, right? So talent strategy. How do we create these pathways that we had? I think all on this call, we've gone through these pathways, right? Apprenticeships, rotations. I just don't know. I think it's a big question mark for me. I guess, Ricardo, we talk about that. And then also the second one, the AI agents is just moving so fast. And we need to build those skills as well. And part of what we cover in the masterclass is now AI agents. So very important. And I think I have 1 or 2 more slides. Yeah, I like to share some of the prompts I've seen and I use, and I like this one. So you're a world-class copywriter. For those who write or have their own website. So I use this one, rewrite this email to convert better. So you're trying to get more likes or more views or more sales. Make it punchy, concise, and persuasive. Use proven frameworks like PASS, and these are frameworks used for engagement, and then you copy. So just very simple, but straightforward. And then some quick questions that I think about myself and project management is, what 90 days results will AI deliver in this project? So make it concrete. If you're starting to use AI, give you 90 days, and how are you going to show it? So again, we encourage you all to use AI in your projects, make it visible. And then who's going to replace when you look at your team? How is AI going to change? And the last, for me personally, what are the AI skills that I want to learn this quarter and that I can practice every week? So these are thinking questions for me. And just 2 small announcement here. Next one. So as I will be published with Harvard, my second book in January, they're very keen. This new book is about project-driven organizations. So we had operations-driven, we had agile organizations, and next is project-driven. And I've been invited to speak at probably the most relevant event from HBR. So you can check the details there. But of course, thanks for all the support there. And the next one is, please, Ricardo, it's an article I wrote recently about also in HBR. So we're trying to get one for AI, so we'll see what the research shares. But Ricardo and I are keen on writing another one for HBR. But you see, we're trying to get the exposures at the highest level, so get more visibility for our work. So thank you, Ricardo. That was all. Sorry for
it's just that event, Antonio, is absolutely amazing. So people do not miss the HBR event, and I'm very proud that you got, because be featured with Emmy Webb, Adi, you know, and these people is extremely relevant, and we are very happy to move this agenda. So Antonio, now it's my time. You said, will you be able to stay a little bit more, or
I
you
stayed
need
a little bit, but I don't know how long, so I'm here. But
okay, no problem. So on my side now, let me just share with you on my side what is in my radar. And the first one is a news from today, is just to prove to you how things are moving. I cannot even see fast. It's just incredible. Is that OpenAI just announced today, okay? I'm saying today, that is building an AI jobs platform exactly to challenge Microsoft LinkedIn. So, you know, even when we think that things are a little bit more stable, we are talking about OpenAI becoming, I would say, a potential competitor of LinkedIn that was, I would say, in the blue ocean. So this is how things are evolving. And this is news from today. It's not 3 days, okay? It's just to give you an idea on how fast things are happening. The second, we are talking about fast and accelerating. And this news from August 26th, I decided to do some news to you just to give you the perspective of what is happening. If you want, you can just point your QR code. I will share these slides on LinkedIn after this presentation, okay? So you can have all these links. But one of the most complex things a human can do using technology and artificial intelligence is to forecast weather, okay? Weather forecast. This is one of, I would say, the easiest way to explain, for example, quantum computing uses and this. And for the first time, Google DeepMind, okay, was able to nail perfectly the first major storm forecast before any other agency was able to inform. Okay, so this was the first. This paper is extremely powerful to show up to which level we are talking about the use of AI. So we are talking about AI being able to forecast weather much better than what we do today. Another, OpenAI can share your chat with public authorities. This was an extremely polemic topic, but now, if you take a look on also this announcement from OpenAI from August, so what is happening? OpenAI and the AI agents will try to understand if, for example, for some reason during a chat, you are thinking about harm yourself and this, so OpenAI will be able to share this information with authorities to help you. So, and this, of course, in one side, it's being perceived as a highly valuable thing, but from another side, it's talking about privacy. That, for example, if I'm using the chat to do a research that I would say has some political connotations, and this I may be reported to authorities. So this is a very polemic, but it's extremely important when we talk about privacy, okay? Privacy. And this, it will be a challenge because what you're putting in your chat is being heard by someone or some agent that we do not know. So this was also what happened this month that is very keen. Another thing that you will see with our research in a much more broader terms when we release, but just to give you an idea, Amazon announced on at the end of August that one Australian business is adopting AI every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes. This is just, and why I use this, because this is an example with some more information. You can download the report on the link. But just to give you an idea, every 3 minutes in Australia, a new company is embracing AI. And at the same time, as Antonio said, AI in the job market. So just to give you an idea, in the 2nd of September, a Salesforce said that AI already replaced 4,000 jobs. So it's a massive challenge and a massive change. And this was reported 2 days ago when Salesforce announced its annual results. And last but not least, Antonio said this, but I want to point this again. We have a massive challenge on entry-level hiring. This report, and this is the article from Guy Lincher and Syed Mahdi from Harvard University, exactly on the topic that Antonio said, that fewer and fewer job options for young professionals. And I said this in the masterclass for the first time, and I mentioned this. This would be a massive challenge for all of us. So this is just to, because this month was, I would say, a holiday month that we had just this amount of news for you. I want also to share with you two things. First, I published 2 videos on LinkedIn and YouTube. One is explaining the use of a tool called MyLens, and they use it. I took a photo of a WBS chart and it created the WBS chart. And the second one about how I would study for, if I was doing the PMP exam, how do I study using AI and Notebook LM? Next week, just a surprise for you, I will share one using GenSpark to build AI agents. And my plan is to release a series of 7 or 8 only about tools for you. So these videos are completely free. They are on my YouTube channel and also on LinkedIn. This is just to really make sure we promote this. The videos I produced it myself. And if you have any idea of new videos on this, I'll be happy to try to record, okay? So now I want to take some questions from you to see, of course, if I can answer them. But let me go quickly. Any insights about generative AI engines, Federico, out of the US? So instead of only ChatGPT, but how is the process in China, France, and this? So China, one thing that is critically important, China is playing absolutely bold, okay? Absolutely bold. I think the world is underestimating the potential of China. China is growing DeepSeek, and it's not only DeepSeek, but for example, the tools I will show, like GenSpark or like Manus, they are all with the roots in China. So China is not falling behind at all. Okay, Europe and the French Mistral. Mistral is doing very well, but Europe is still a little bit behind if we think comparing with China and this. So we hope that Europe will catch up very soon. And this is a big challenge that is being discussed by the European Union recently. Tanja, great to hear from you. In your report, do you see any difference in response and trends from various countries and regions? Yes, we saw that. We register all the answers by country and regions. So you will see in some of the questions that there is a very different perception of fear and the cultural. This is also, I would say, a cultural aspect of even how AI is taking place, okay? Federico, as USA champions, I mean ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity, okay, it's part of the same question. Yes, of course, we are more used to ChatGPT, Claude, and this, but I truly believe that China is picking up very fast, much faster than what we think, okay? Fritz, do you have an indication on where AI are mostly used and where the benefits are the biggest? Portfolio leadership, resource leadership, business case, continuous improvement. Yes, Fritz, what we see is currently most of the time people are using generative AI and AI to help them to plan to projects. It means to help them to build a schedule, help them to build the WBS chart, as I showed in my video. This is where it's mostly used. And it's not necessarily where it's delivering the biggest value, okay? To deliver the biggest value is when you touch on critical points. So what is happening with the concept of AI agents? People are using in portfolio, starting to use in portfolio management, risk management, and then the value of that becomes much stronger, okay? Much stronger. So what we are doing today, it's not what we believe will deliver the biggest results, but we are evolving. And this is one of the findings of the report. We are evolving very fast on that, okay? Sandra, what AI tool do you work with? Okay, Sandra, I work with ChatGPT. I'm talking that I work, I would say, at least once a day, okay? ChatGPT, I like very much Claude. When I need to use access internet and internet research, I use Perplexity. So these are the three, I would say, ChatGPT-like tools I use all the time. I have the paid version. I use also Manus as an AI agent. I use also Notebook LM to do research and to study. That I just love it. And I use GenSpark as a replacement and in some actions that I'm not able to use Manus. Okay, so these are the tools I would say I'm using, okay, almost in a daily basis, that I use at least 2-3 times a week, okay? 2-3 times a week, okay? So this is just as an idea, and all of them I have the paid version, okay? So now, John, hi, Ricardo. We will be able to share the report with our PMO colleagues. Of course, John, it will be available for free for download, okay? So you can share it, you can, and as soon as it's ready, we'll announce it to everybody, okay? So, okay, the next question. Are you starting to see state governments pursue to be hesitant in implementing AI? No, Juan, we don't see that. I see governments very keen to integrate, but remember, governments are much slower than private sector. So this view of hesitation. It's not, it's a natural process of the public service. So it's very challenging to figure out what is the best way, okay? Because governments, they have a parliament, they have the natural bureaucracy, and this could seem as an hesitation, but it's not. All the governments we talk to are very keen, and we saw this from Helen in the example she gave to us, okay? So let me try to get a few more here. Priscilla, these numbers are intriguing about junior positions. Which skills with our children will have to develop to own their space in the market in the future? Oh, Priscilla, this is $1 million question, okay? I have two daughters, 26 and 21, and it's very hard to say, but I would say, Priscilla, that one of the biggest skills I would suggest for young professionals to learn is technology, and technology related to the benefit of society. For example, technology for health, technology for finance. These are, I would say, topics that are still very valuable for the society, and I don't see them to be extinguished soon. But the world in 20 years from now will be extremely different from what it is today in terms of job market. And this is why I started talking about LinkedIn being challenged by OpenAI, and this is serious, right? This is very serious. But Priscilla, I feel the same, and it's becoming harder and harder to grow our children, because it's not so obvious anymore what would be the best path for them towards the future. So it's very hard to predict. Pascal, similar to Priscilla's questions in the chat, but as a father of 3 teenagers and young adults, how do I help them to find this career in this AI proof? Pascal, the same thing. What I try the most with my daughters is to make technology part of their work. For example, Gabriela, my youngest one, is starting in 2 weeks at Stanford, and this is one of the reasons why I'm here to doing the master's, and I'm talking to her all the time and say, look, she studies biotechnology. And I said to her, you cannot, we were talking about the disciplines, you cannot disregard artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and this technology. So this is the way I'm helping them. It's adaptation, okay? It's adaptation and adaptation, because it's very, very hard. And the traditional paths are not working anymore, okay? The traditional path of, okay, law, engineering, medicine, I'm not sure how they will work in the future, okay? Jason, moving from PM to AI PM is not easy, as a job description requires experience in AI and data. How can we make this jump if we are PM in different industries? Jason, a brilliant question. This is exactly why we are doing these webinars and this, because the best way for you to make this jump is by learning and practicing. What we want is to excite all of you to jump into AI, to study, to understand, to apply AI in your day-to-day. This is the best way for you to bridge from a traditional project management approach to an AI-based approach, okay? So this is a very, very important point, and thanks for asking this question to me, okay? Munir, why does it mean exactly in Australia that every 3 minutes? Look, sorry, Munir, I shared that just to show the growth, because this AWS, this Amazon report was based in Australia, okay? So this is just to show a trend, because every 3 minutes, and in a country that is not, I would say, huge in terms of population, etc. It's really surprising for all of us, okay? But there was no reason to be Australia at all, okay? Johan, I know that there are so many questions. I'm trying my best here to answer, okay? Johan, Ricardo, if I can say, which phase of the process groups or under which knowledge area will the AI be helpful for the project life cycle in real time, especially in hybrid approach? Johan, this is very, very hard to say. Okay, it's very hard to say, but I would say in all project phases, but mostly initiation, planning, and monitoring. Okay, and the execution is a different, I would say, animal on that. And if you think about the knowledge areas, I would say in the most immediate approach, scope, risk, some parts of communication, but very soon it will be on the integration where it delivers most of its value, okay? Very few people are using AI on the integration because it's a much more holistic approach, but this is where the benefit, most of the benefits will take place, okay? But thanks for your question. Ellie, I've created a GPT agent to help me study for the AIPM certification, and it's working wonderfully. I'm planning past the exam next week. Any last minute advice? No, no advice. The only thing I would do, Ellie, I would use also Notebook LM. I will take pieces of the lessons and I use Notebook LM to create for me quiz questions and this. So, but I wish you good luck. So we are having a lot of people doing the certification every month. So we would love to welcome you to the team. Okay, Vishal, I'm planning to certify for the AIPM. Can I use AI to prepare for this exam? I'm not saying can. You should, or maybe you must use Notebook LM, build a custom GPT exactly like I just said. So of course you should use AI to prepare. I am studying and I'm doing a course on quantum computing, and I'm using AI to help me to study and to prepare, because there is a lot of math that I don't recall because I graduated 30 years ago. So I don't recall exactly some of differential equations, irrational numbers, and this. So I'm studying and I'm using AI to help me on that. Okay. Mario, how are you, Mario? Great to see you, my friend. How do you see AI helping in practical areas of project management, such as automating WBS, optimizing resource allocation by matching skills? Let me explain how do I feel that. Step one, the easy use and most immediate is to help you to produce artifacts, to help you to produce WBS charts, to automate this, to automate you to create a schedule, to automate you to create a report, for example, or to allocate people. This is the normal use, and this is already ready, okay? But what is, for me, the critical thing, it's when we use agents to create an automation that does everything. The WBS and the network and the communication plan and everything else. This is exactly where we see the biggest challenge and the biggest value. So this is where exactly we see, for example, when this type of agent becomes ready, we will really to streamline dramatically. And this is where the change in our profession will take place in a much sharper way. And this is exactly what the agents like Genspark, Manus are working very hard to do now. But thank you, and great to see you, my friend. Trish, I have recently moved from a PM role to a release manager role at my company. Have you come across any AI trends specifically to release management or do you feel that most AI PMs are relevant to release management as well? Look, Trish, yes, there is a lot of work being done on technology and software development and these type of tools. So there are several specific release management and most on the software side tools being released. So all of these concept of vibe coding, and these are becoming very popular. But most of the tools we explain here and we explain in the masterclass and this, they are for generic use. So even as a release manager, you can use and benefit from them, like Manus, like GenSpark, like Mylans, like Napkin, all of this you can use and benefit to help you to become a better release manager. Thank you, Trish. Okay. God, I have so many questions here. Let me select a few more here. When introducing, Eugene, when introducing AI to organizations, what strategy have you seen to work best to overcome resistance? Oh, thank you, Eugene. Let me show you this slide deck that I love. Take a look on this that was on Twitter recently. So it's a very clear, it's not easy to sell because, for example, CEOs, they want AI, but they don't know why they want AI, but they want it now. And this is very clear. So how do you sell AI into one organization? The first thing, it's instead of saying that I want AI, it's what the problem we are trying to solve. Most of the people start implementing AI without knowing. So the first and most relevant question to be answered is this one here. If you don't know the answer to this, just don't move. So the best strategy is to identify, but for me, when I'm starting, low-hanging fruits. So things that I can automate, that I can use AI in a simple and effective way. This is why, for example, I produce these videos showing, for example, how to take a WBS chart that is a drawing, in using handwriting, take a photo and magically transform it into a WBS. This is the best way for me to show the value through these quick, simple examples to get the buy-in of people to do what is needed to do. But what is happening today, the biggest driver for AI adoption, do you know what is the biggest challenge? Is FOMO, fear of missing out. CEOs fear that they are falling behind and they don't care. They just want to implement. So this is why I start always by showing the benefit in the fastest possible way to the client. So this is why we can use these tools as a support for us to sell the idea. This is why I produce these videos, okay? Sahin, will a PM tool such as Trello transform mid-sized design consultancy working and way of working efficiently? Will it help the integration management? Do you recommend an alternative? I'm suspicious to say, Sahin, because I am a big fan of Trello. I think Trello is an amazing tool. I use it all the time because I'm very visual and I love Kanban boards. So I use Trello. So I think these tools are very dynamic and very visual, and they will still have a place. And remember that Trello now has a lot of features using AI that will help you to streamline your work, okay? Okay, Fabiano, how do you see these corporate AI tools like Copilot and Google Gemini comparing with ChatGPT? I feel like they don't compare quite well when I evaluate the personal use of ChatGPT in the corporate version. Look, I think, Fabiano, ChatGPT is a little bit more mature, but Microsoft Copilot is very decent and it's improving dramatically. And Google Gemini, too. For example, they released a tool to edit photos with AI called Banana, and it's amazing what they did. So Gemini is putting a big competition to Midjourney. That is one of the most considered tools for AI. So I feel that the competition is very tough. And I believe at the end, these will be almost unified. It means that Claude, ChatGPT, Copilot will be all so good that will make no difference what you use, okay? Thomas, uh, Thomas, Ricardo, do you recommend to try both Western and Chinese AI tools? Thomas, wonderful seeing you, my friend. Yes, I recommend you to look to the Chinese tools. For example, DeepSeek and this. I think it gives you a much more holistic approach. I think the competition in AI is far from being settled. I think that China is moving very fast. So I will not disregard learning Chinese and Western tools because this will equip myself much better. Okay. And I use, for example, I use Manus, Genspark, DeepSeek. The three of them are Chinese tools. Okay. Just to give you an idea. And at the same time, I use ChatGPT, Claude, and this. So it's like learning different languages, Thomas. But wonderful seeing you, my friend. Bashar, what do you think about Grok? I'm using it and it's becoming efficient almost at ChatGPT. I like very much Grok. The only thing I see more challenging on Grok is Grok has less guardrails because, you know, the perception and because of Elon Musk, a very, I would say in some ways, libertarian way of seeing things. So Grok is very good for you to ask polemic questions, okay? When you want really to test and to ask things that are on the boundary of ethics, misuse, and this. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, please. No, not at all. For example, in the masterclass, I show an example where I ask Grok and other tools to draw an image, and you will see that Grok accepts to draw images that are much more polemic than the others. But Grok is an excellent tool also. But the biggest difference for me is guardrails. For example, if you ask ChatGPT to produce a polemic photo, most of the time it will say, I'm not allowed, this is a copyright infringement, whatever. But if you go on Grok, there is a good chance you can do that. So it's a matter of use. I use Grok a little bit less, but I heard very good things about it, okay? Kathy, what is the AI tool I use to help in writing books and reports? I use a tool called Grammarly that helps me to compose a better text because, you know, of course, I'm not a native speaker in English. So sometimes when I'm writing and I need to adjust, I use Grammarly to help me. But to generate a text, then I use traditional ChatGPTs and this, okay? But I don't use any specific tool to write books. On the reporting side, I use a tool, Kathy, called Lovable, because most of the time I produce a website with the report. So I use Lovable that I showed you a few months ago. So look, now it's 1 minute left for us to finish. So thank you. We received almost 40 questions. I tried to answer all of them. So I wish you a wonderful day. So I will go back to my holidays, okay? And today I will visit Sequoia National Park. So I'm going after this call. So I wish you all a wonderful month, and we will be back with the report in a couple of days and also in the first Friday of October to update you on that, okay? Wishing you all a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us.